Hey guys, Channel Weird. I'm Clyde Lewis. Welcome to another episode, and today is a remarkable, timely episode. I don't know if any of you have seen the new movie Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. I watched that film with my son, and we were just terrified by it. It's been a while since there's been a really good devil movie or a demon movie that's come out, and of course the movie is once again the adventures of Ed and Lorraine Warren, who have been, well, they both passed away, but they have been known as the demon investigators, or, you know, Lorraine saw herself as a medium, and of course Ed was a demon chaser, but they didn't have an important ingredient in their investigations, and that is a demon seer. And it's interesting that my guest today is that very person. In fact, world-renowned talk show host, also a book writer, very good book writer, as a matter of fact, and a person who actually sees demons, exorcises demons, has been on several ghost investigations, and it's June Lundgren with us today on Channel Weird. So June, I've known you for a long time. You even exorcised the demon out of me because my wife was concerned about something that I picked up in a ghost investigation. Yeah. She thought that I had something that was following me, and there was something that was following me. What was interesting is, for those that don't know, is that when, you did it over the phone. Oh, yeah. And when you did it, I don't know if you knew this, but when the demon escaped from me, I had a huge boil that formed in my head. Uh-huh. That for some reason it just happened, and it was like a really scary experience. And I mean, aside from that, you see yourself, or you are a person who sees demons and takes them out of people. When did you realize that you had this gift or this ability?
I've always been able to see demons, communicate with them, understand what they're saying. It was only after I died in a motorcycle accident in 1998 when I went to the other side, and Michael the Archangel was there, and he says, "You're brought here because you need to understand who and what you are." He says, "Your soul is Ariel the Archangel. She is a demon slayer, and your job in the physical world is going to be to remove demons." He says, "Why do you think you can see them, hear them, understand them? Because that's your job." And I had never even heard of Ariel. So when I came back to my body, and the police officer was looking at me like, "Oh, thank God, you're alive." Yeah. And so I looked it up on the internet, and there's really not much that's known about her other than she's one of the five that guard the throne of God, and her name means Lion of God. But there's so much more to her. She had ripped a demon out of a woman in 1198 AD, and the woman died. And God said, "You know what? You have no compassion for mankind. You're going to go back, and you're going to relive human lives until you learn to have compassion." And this is life number 131, so I think she's pretty stubborn. Mm-hmm. But after that, it was all about getting on with the removals. Just, I asked Michael, I said, "Well, these demons, they can kill you." And he's like, "No," he says, "you don't understand. Ariel protects the body." And they more or less forced me to do a removal. My brother had a demonic possession, was possessed by a demonic. And I went down to visit because my sister-in-law said there's something wrong with him. His eyes are turning black. He's growling. He looks and acts evil. So I went down and I stood outside his home, and Michael and Gabriel are there. And they're telling me, call the demon to you. And I'm thinking to myself, are you crazy? But I did it. I called the demon to me, and it came through the walls of the house towards me. And I was about 5 feet, it was about 5 feet away from me, when all of a sudden my consciousness went to the back, and Ariel came forward. And I could hear her say, "Stupid demon, do you not know who I am?" And the demon started screaming, and then she pulled out a sword. She created a white light sword and sliced through it and killed it. And she went back into her consciousness, went back, and mine went forward. And I told Michael, I said, "Do you use me as bait?" He said, "You had to understand that no matter what, you can do this. Ariel will always be there. Ariel will always come out front." So ever since then, I don't have any fear of them. They don't bother me. They're more of an annoyance than anything.
But I think it's a lot to do with, I guess, relating in a way, because when you look at demons, we forget the demons are angels, many of them, and they're spiritual.
They were at one time.
Yes, and they may not be the best of angels, or they may not be the best of spirit, but they have the ability to torment, but they don't have the ability to take over. I mean, the human mind. A lot of people don't understand this about demons, and it's like it just demons when they. I mean, because I've studied demonology, because of course I go. It's part of my job as a guy who studies the occult and talks about it. But what I've studied about demons is that demons cannot force you to do anything that you're not willing to do on your own.
Right.
And that demons cannot read your thoughts. They only know what you are capable of doing. And that's why they try to put things in your way. They're like confidence tricksters.
Actually, they can read your thoughts.
I thought they couldn't. I've always read that the law is that they know what you... They expect you to think a certain way, and they know what you're like.
Oh, no. They can reach into your mind. Most of the time, they reach into your mind. They find the image that you have created of what they should look like, and they amplify that 100-fold.
Right.
And they show it. They send it back into your mind.
Oh, yeah, the residual image thing.
Yeah.
I know that. But usually the way to outsmart one is to gain fresh courage and to know that the human body is something they want because they don't have one. And so they will do everything they can to torment you. They see you as a monkey.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing, is they see you as a monkey, and they see you as a monkey that can be tricked or can basically do their bidding.
Yeah, they like to be in control. A lot of people don't understand, why are they this way? Why do they do this? And people need to understand that we used to have physical bodies long before we came to this planet. I mean, hundreds of thousands of years ago. And the entity that we call God found us. We were very warlike, very primitive. And over time, he helped us to get rid of war, of famine, disease. And our whole goal was the pursuit of knowledge. And once we got to that level, we started to evolve into pure energy. And once we evolved into pure energy, as a group, we traveled everywhere, all the stars, everywhere we could, in the pursuit of knowledge, of watching beings, of watching cultures, amassing all of this knowledge. And then one day, a group, I'd say about 70%, said, "You know what? We want to have physical bodies again. We'd like to have children. We'd like to grow old together. We'd like to know love."
Yeah.
And that's what caused the war, because Lucifer and his followers said, "No, we don't want to be subject to growing old, getting diseases, pain, suffering. We don't want it." So they rose up against the light workers, and there was a big war, and Michael disarmed Lucifer, and Ariel disarmed his son. And God told him, "I'm going to give you exactly what you want. You will never be able to have physical body again. You will never be able to reincarnate into the physical, but you can't live among us." So he opened a rift into the darkness,
Right.
into a dark realm, and he put him in there. And he said, "This is where you'll remain." And the rift was sealed. It's guarded on both sides by two archangels.
So are demons jealous of us?
Yes. Over the centuries, they've grown angry, resentful, vengeful. Anyone that inhabits a human body has a white light soul in it. So they're out to cause as much pain and suffering as they can.
Because that's what you wanted, right? That's
Yeah.
what you wanted, and that's what you're going to get, and that's what we're going to give you.
Right, exactly.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I never heard the idea that we had bodies before, and then we became light, and then we wanted to have that again. We wanted to feel pain, pleasure. We wanted to feel
wanted everything.
Yeah, and we want to grow old, have children, find love
Right.
amongst the pain.
Right.
And so these demons, cast down, cast out, like you said, put into the darkness.
Yeah.
and they come from time to torment mankind because they are jealous of the bodies. Because I remember when I was growing up in Sunday school, and the whole idea of the what was it, the casting out of the demon, that Jesus casted the demon out of the demoniac, and the demons came to Jesus and they said, "We want you to put us in bodies. Oh, please, Jesus, we want bodies." And so Jesus, being the clever man that he was, cast them into pigs.
Right.
And then for some reason, the pigs then were somehow detoured and they fell into the water and drowned.
Right.
I think that's another example of once a demon gets a body, it's kind of like a dog chasing a car. Once it gets it, it doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And,
Quite
and
true.
so all it knows how to do is harm.
Right. It doesn't know anything
Do they
else.
enjoy harming?
They do. They get pleasure from it. Anytime they feed off of fear, anger, jealousy, pain, all of that feeds them. It makes them stronger. And so I tell people, I said, if you fear them, you're screwed, because that feeds them. That makes them stronger. You can't fear them. I have a friend who's an ordained minister, and I told him, I said, was brought in on a possession case, and I said, you need to come with me. I said, you fear the dark ones. I said, God told me you need to come. You need to learn not to fear the dark ones. And so we went in on this case, and I got down. There were 11 demons in this woman. I was down to the last one. And I told it, I said, I know why you're here. I know why you're hiding in this woman. I said, because you were supposed to do something for Lucifer, and you just didn't bother to do it. I said, you're afraid of him. You're hiding from him. Yeah. And I said, I can ask Jesus to take you home if you would like, if you really want to go home.
Right.
And he said, you can? And I said, yes. So I asked Jesus to come forward. And my two friends that were with me, they both parted as this huge hand came out towards the woman and the demon. And then the demon at the last minute said, no, you're lying. You're lying. I can't go home. So Jesus withdrew. I said, so be it. Lucifer, come forth. And Lucifer appeared down the hallway and walked towards us. And my friends are freaking out. And I'm like, and Lucifer told him, demon, come with me. The demon said, no. And Lucifer looked at me and said, I know you don't want me to kill the woman, so I'll be back for him. And he walked back down the hall and left. And then at 3 a.m., we all woke up in our respective beds, and we heard, it's done. I called the woman the next day, and she said, it's been over 20 years since she felt like this, normal. I said, please go see a counselor. He said, you have PTSD. And last thing I knew, she did. But it happens, and that's what I'm all about. I'm all about helping them.
When we go to, you look at how science has tried to explain explain away demonology, or explain away demon possession with psychiatric, psychological type of things. But now we see that science is speaking about something called panpsychism and how consciousness is in everything.
Right.
And that even what they call chaotic consciousness also is there. That you have matter that's organized, that we are all consciousness organized on a quantum level.
Right.
But there's also chaos, and chaos on a quantum level can be had because everything is a fractal. And so when that chaos glitch comes into the matrix, that's when we start seeing what is called the demon seed, or the idea that we are somehow planted within us is this chaotic nature where we do lose it psychologically.
And demons are all about chaos. They love chaos. If there's no chaos, they create it. They just love that stuff.
Yeah, they thrive on it. Thrive on fear. You're right. There's a lot of people who, they tell you they're afraid to even mention the devil's name. They're afraid to say Satan or the devil or Lucifer. They're afraid to go to horror movies, or they're afraid to do all those things because
read about it, watch it.
Yeah, because they're afraid they're going to get the devil in them, and the devil doesn't work that way. No. I mean,
I tell people, if they want to find you, they'll find you.
Yeah.
I don't care who or what you're doing.
It's like a disease. It's like a virus. It's hard to break it. June Lundgren with us, the Demon Seer, right here on Channel Weird. Fascinating guest. Please stay with us. There's more to come. Don't go away. Hey guys, it's Clyde Lewis. Have you ever wanted Ground Zero merchandise but didn't know where to go? Well, I want to let you know that we now have our own online store with such items as t-shirts, hoodies, decals, tote bags, and other exclusive specialty apparel. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. Coming soon will be signed posters and coffee mugs available as we are constantly adding new items. So shop today at the official Ground Zero store by going to groundzeromerch.com. That's groundzeromerch.com.
It's all over the news, food shortages and scarcity in the supply chain, and the reality is nobody truly knows what might happen in the near future. Hi, I'm Clyde Lewis, and I want to let you know that it's a good idea to plan ahead so you aren't caught off guard. Nothing's more important than having enough food to eat, and we're here to help. We highly recommend My Patriot Supply, America's leading emergency preparedness company. They provide long-term emergency food that lasts up to 25 years in storage. When grocery stores run empty or disasters strike, their foods will be there when you need them most. Act now and secure at least a 4-week emergency food kit full of tasty meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. They have dozens of emergency food storage kits to choose from, along with a variety of other survival products. If the government tells you not to go out, you can have the peace of mind that comes from being prepared. After you order from My Patriot Supply, your food will arrive discreetly at your doorstep. Prepare today, because time is short. Go to preparewithgroundzero.com. That's preparewithgroundzero.com. This coming July 3rd and 4th, Free and Equal Elections is hosting its 7th annual United We Stand Festival in Cambria, California. Hi, I'm Clyde Lewis, and I'll be there along with other freedom-conscious speakers. Free and Equal is a nonpartisan and well-known for their independent presidential debates. Their United We Stand festivals connect people of all ages with musicians, artists, and thought leaders to encourage civic involvement and inspire independent individuals to run for office. For more information, please visit freeandequal.org. Again, that's freeandequal.org.
Hey guys, it's Clyde Lewis. Have you ever wanted Ground Zero merchandise but didn't know where to go? Well, I want to let you know that we now have our own online store with such items as t-shirts, hoodies, decals, tote bags, and other exclusive specialty apparel. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. Coming soon will be signed posters and coffee mugs available as we are constantly adding new items. So shop today at the official Ground Zero store by going to groundzeromerch.com. That's groundzeromerch.com.
It's all over the news, food shortages and scarcity in the supply chain, and the reality is nobody truly knows what might happen in the near future. Hi, I'm Clyde Lewis, and I want to let you know that it's a good idea to plan ahead so you aren't caught off guard. Nothing's more important than having enough food to eat, and we're here to help. We highly recommend My Patriot Supply, America's leading emergency preparedness company. They provide long-term emergency food that lasts up to 25 years in storage. When grocery stores run empty or disasters strike, their foods will be there when you need them most. Act now and secure at least a 4-week emergency food kit full of tasty meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. They have dozens of emergency food storage kits to choose from, along with a variety of other survival products. If the government tells you not to go out, you can have the peace of mind that comes from being prepared. After you order from My Patriot Supply, your food will arrive discreetly at your doorstep. Prepare today, because time is short. Go to preparewithgroundzero.com. That's preparewithgroundzero.com.
June Lundgren's with us, the Demon Seer, and fascinating first segment. If you missed it, it was amazing. The why we are here, why demons torment us. And so, we were talking about how, you were talking about actually, how we were all at one time beings of light.
Yes.
Because I've talked with a number of people, and we're back on the quantum level here, because I like to talk about the quantum immortality, because it's kind of like, no one talks about it. They talk about the religious
Right.
Hallmark version of Jesus, and the Hallmark version of Satan, and the Hallmark version of it all. And there's a science behind it now.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you're saying to yourself, if we're saying to ourselves that we were once beings of light,
Mm-hmm.
then the whole, I guess, declaration by God, where he said, "Let there be light," means that everything that we do is based on light.
On light. Uh-huh.
So in order to, I guess, get rid of the demon, we have to allow light in our lives, more light.
Exactly. Yeah.
How do one do that?
Some people I hate to be cliche, but some people go to religion, they go to church. Religion is man-made. It's man's answer to putting a round peg in a square hole. God didn't create religion, people did.
Mm-hmm.
And when I talked to him, he says, I prefer spirituality. He said, if you do good, if you are good, if your intention is good, he said, that goes a long way with me. He says, I judge you by your heart, not necessarily by your actions. And when I died and went to the other side, one of the things that I learned was that in their realm, as in the dark realm, thought becomes reality. And it is the intention behind the thought that gives it power. And people ask me, well, how can Michael, the archangel, be in 1,000 places at the same time? I said, because there's no distance on the other side. None whatsoever. There's no such thing.
Well, I mean, let's talk about science here. What's tachyon? Tachyon can be everywhere at once.
Exactly.
It can be bits and pieces of everything. In fact, I talked with Stephen Hawking about that. We were actually discussing, get a load of this, the reality of Santa Claus. And we were discussing it on a quantum level because we were just kind of half joking, talking about it. And he was saying to me, he says, it's like sending an email. Mm-hmm. He said, you can send emails to thousands of people. All you have to do is hit one button, and that email shows up all at the same time.
Right.
And he says, if we were to take that idea and were to reduce it down to the quantum level of tachyon, mm-hmm. then we'd say that tachyon particles can appear everywhere at once at one time of the year called Christmas, because
right.
everybody changes their attitude at Christmas
time.
And he said, and it's probable that this is all what Santa Claus is. It's just a tachyon anomaly. And, Santa Claus is just the metaphor. It has nothing to do with
right.
believing in a bearded fat guy or whatever.
Right.
But it's the idea of a metaphor that puts a label on movements of tachyon, movements of light, movements of frequency. And so if you want to call it God, mm-hmm. call it God. If you want to call it Satan, you can call it Satan. That's the metaphor that fits the mold of the quantum realm of what demonology and what angels are and what
and we're
fallen
all,
angels
and
are.
We're all about putting labels on things, putting labels on people, putting labels on ideas, putting labels on things. People don't understand. A lot of times people will say, well, I pray to Michael. He knows how I feel. He knows when I'm sad. He knows this. He knows that. And I have to tell them, sure, they know the concept of love, of hate, of fear, of worry, but they don't experience the actual emotion. No. I said, when you stop and think about it, they've been over there for hundreds of thousands of years.
Now, they don't have bodies, right?
They do not have bodies.
So they can't experience all that physical stuff. Yeah, you're right.
And so for Ariel, when she came down, the first 3 or 4 lifetimes were just horrible for her because she had no concept of emotions. And she found she believed emotions were a weakness. It's not good to be weak. So she's only been in the last couple of lifetimes where she's found that emotions are beneficial, that good things can happen, that they are not a weakness. And that is a revelation for her. Every time she returns to the light, she lets the other archangels feel what she feels, experience what she experienced, so they can try to understand the concept of all of these emotions.
Right.
In relation to humans, because they don't get it. So it's for her too, it's a teaching thing. This is her last lifetime. God says, this is it. This is your last lifetime. You can come home for good. So she's happy about that. But I've seen my death. I know I'm going to die at 93 years old, and I'm not worried about it. I've been dead before. So I know that when I die, I'll go there and I'll do the demon stuff again. That's what I'm all about.
What was I going to say? I was going to ask you about when I was going to say this. I don't want to put you out of business, but here's the deal. People need someone else, I think, mm-hmm. to take a demon out of them when they don't know that they could do it themselves.
Right.
Because I think a lot of the time there needs to be an authority figure or someone who has that power or says they have that power in order to step in and do it. Because, I've noticed that when it comes to things like, let's talk about Ouija boards for a moment, okay? Ouija board, the minute you say that, people all go, oh my God, they go crazy. I know. Thank you for rolling your eyes. Thank you so much for rolling your eyes. And the reason why I thank you for that is because of the fact that Ouija boards basically do what you put into them. They are, I mean, people don't know what an ideomotor response is. And they don't know that what is coming out of a Ouija board is coming out of you. And that doesn't prove them, that doesn't disprove them.
Right.
It just goes to show you that your subconscious, when you have that hand, when you have the hand on the planchette, your subconscious becomes a conduit for what is out there.
Right.
And it's like a switchboard. And so whether a spirit's in you or maybe this is in your subconscious from a previous life is going out on that board.
It's that soul connection. And it's just a tool, like anything else, like tarot cards.
You can do
like
it without
scrying. I don't need any of that stuff.
No, automatic writing.
Yeah, it's just a tool.
Yeah, it's a tool because people need theatrics. They need crystal balls. They need tarot cards. They need a board that has really scary letters on it.
They need something physical. You know, we're physical people. We need
Right.
something that says, "Oh, if I roll the dice, you know,
Right.
I'll get snake eye or
Right.
whatever." You know, if I use the board,
Right.
then I'll connect with Grandpa Moses.
Right.
I'll connect with Uncle Joe. You know, it's all, when you do that, all you're doing is channeling from your soul. And it knows all the answers.
Well, it's like, somebody once told me that letters of the alphabet are sigils. And that's why when you look at the letters of the alphabet on a Ouija board, they're sigils as well, because we can talk, but we don't need to have the letters to tell us what to say.
No.
We have communicated for so long that people don't really read anymore because they got TV, they got radio, they got all these things that talk, audiobooks.
Yeah.
And that means then people need to learn what each symbol represents and how putting these symbols together makes words.
Right.
We don't need them. And so if you go, well, Ouija board's scary. Well, I can talk to the dead and I don't need a Ouija board.
Yeah.
Because the dead can come into me or they can come out of me. Because I always say the truth is not necessarily out there. It's in you.
Yes. It's all about you utilizing your tools, your soul. You make that soul connection. And it's like, I had a friend the other day said, well, this woman uses tarot cards. This woman uses pendulum. This woman uses just scrying. I'm like, but I don't need any of that. I don't utilize it. Neither do you. Well, I don't understand.
The thing that's most hilarious is that you mention a Ouija board and people freak out, but you say, well, I have a pendulum. Oh, no problem.
Right.
I have tarot.
Exactly.
Oh, no problem. It's because of The Exorcist. That's why. People saw The Exorcist, Captain Howdy, all that stuff, and they freaked out about it. And so whenever I hear people say, I had a bad experience with a Ouija board, I go, yeah, everybody has. Join the club. It's because, you know why? Because within you is the bad stuff.
Yeah, you get out of it what you put into it. I just don't understand. People don't need all of that stuff.
No.
They just look within themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk to your inner self. You can talk to grandma or grandpa if you want to. All you got to do is sit in a room and concentrate.
And calm yourself.
And open yourself up to it, and you can feel it without all the theatrics.
Right.
But the theatrics for some people are needed in order for it to be real. It needs to be a real experience because we're tactile.
Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, it would be great, and I know that it can be done, but there are mediums that when you're sitting with them, they can actually, channel. Can you channel?
Yes. I don't like it, but yes, I do.
It's exhausting, isn't it?
It is.
I never thought I could channel until one time I was doing a hypnotic thing where they were doing a regressing type of thing with this guy who was possessed. And I said, I want to try that. I want to try that. So they regressed me, and they did it on the air. I was on the radio. And what was interesting was then when they regressed me, I took on all these characters. One was a French dude, and I spoke French. Never spoke French in my life. And the other was this black guy that was in jail. And they were telling me that when I was channeling, my whole body changed. And what was interesting is that when I was channeling the guy, it was this black guy who was in jail or something. He had this prison. He was in this prison thing. I was saying all kinds of 4-letter words on the air, and they couldn't stop me.
Yeah.
And so obviously,
you're not in control
I was
of
in a trance, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing because if I knew I was on the radio, I'm sure I wouldn't say F here and F that.
Right.
But I was.
Yeah.
And it's like I listened back to it, and I was so terrified that I didn't sound like me, and I was told I didn't look like me. I threw the tape away, and I should have kept it because I kept obsessing over it. But then I realized that I was involved with some voluntary entrapment, and I didn't want to be a part of it anymore because that's the scary part.
It's like when Ariel comes forward. For years, people have been looking at me strange. When she comes forward and does a removal, it's like people see wings coming out of my shoulders. They see my eyes turn white, my voice and my face changes. But that's just the physical trappings of the physical manifestations of her.
That shape-shifting is subtle. I think a lot of people think that, like that, what they see in Hollywood. That's unfortunate because Hollywood makes the paranormal look all over the top, but it's really a subtle thing, and you got to be able to recognize it when you're in the middle of it. June Lundgren with us, the Demon Seer. Very fascinating conversation. We'll be back with more here on Channel Weird with June. Don't go away. Hey guys, it's Clyde Lewis. Have you ever wanted Ground Zero merchandise but didn't know where to go? Well, I want to let you know that we now have our own online store with such items as t-shirts, hoodies, decals, tote bags, and other exclusive specialty apparel. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. Coming soon will be signed posters and coffee mugs available as we are constantly adding new items. So shop today at the official Ground Zero store by going to groundzeromerch.com. That's groundzeromerch.com.
It's all over the news, food shortages and scarcity in the supply chain, and the reality is nobody truly knows what might happen in the near future. Hi, I'm Clyde Lewis, and I want to let you know that it's a good idea to plan ahead so you aren't caught off guard. Nothing's more important than having enough food to eat, and we're here to help. We highly recommend My Patriot Supply, America's leading emergency preparedness company. They provide long-term emergency food that lasts up to 25 years in storage. When grocery stores run empty or disasters strike, their foods will be there when you need them most. Act now and secure at least a 4-week emergency food kit full of tasty meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. They have dozens of emergency food storage kits to choose from, along with a variety of other survival products. If the government tells you not to go out, you can have the peace of mind that comes from being prepared. After you order from My Patriot Supply, your food will arrive discreetly at your doorstep. Prepare today, because time is short. Go to preparewithgroundzero.com. That's preparewithgroundzero.com. This coming July 3rd and 4th, Free and Equal Elections is hosting its 7th annual United We Stand Festival in Cambria, California. Hi, I'm Clyde Lewis, and I'll be there along with other freedom-conscious speakers. Free and Equal is a nonpartisan and well-known for their independent presidential debates. Their United We Stand festivals connect people of all ages with musicians, artists, and thought leaders to encourage civic involvement and inspire independent individuals to run for office. For more information, please visit freeandequal.org. Again, that's freeandequal.org. Hey guys, it's Clyde Lewis. Have you ever wanted Ground Zero merchandise but didn't know where to go? Well, I want to let you know that we now have our own online store with such items as t-shirts, hoodies, decals, tote bags, and other exclusive specialty apparel. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. Coming soon will be signed posters and coffee mugs available as we are constantly adding new items. So shop today at the official Ground Zero store by going to groundzeromerch.com. That's groundzeromerch.com. Channel Weird. I'm Clyde Lewis. June Lundgren with us, the Demon Seer. Man, some fascinating stuff here. We're learning about the other side, mostly the darker side of things. You know, you've been on TV shows. You've worked with certain people. I mean, I remember you were talking about how you were working with Zach Bagans, Bagans of the Ghost Adventures.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
It was rather interesting.
Okay. I know that he likes to collect things that are considered paranormal and evil. I know that he was wanting the Dybbuk box from Kevin Manis, and
Which he got.
And we knew Kevin.
Yeah, what you got.
Kevin is. We worked with Kevin many times with the Dybbuk and how the. And that brings up another thing. But tell me about your experience with Zach, and we'll talk about these other demons.
He was very nice. Mm-hmm. He was, the people were very nice. Billy Tully was my cameraman, and I had been talking to him, and I said, the demon that's here, the old demon that's here, is the one that took your sight at the demon house. I said, and he says, why is he here? And I said, he's here because he has a message for you. And he's like, what's the message? I said, I don't know until we get inside and ask him. I said, he's not going to tell me. He wants you present. So we went inside, and I had the demon chained up in the corner, and he's like, well, what's he saying? I said, he's not saying anything yet. And he says, I want to see what you see. And I'm like, no, you don't. I said, it's not for everybody to see. And he's like, yes, I do. And I'm like, fine, hold my hand. So he held my hand, and what you don't hear, that's probably on the floor in the tape room, is he said, at first it was like light, and it was beautiful. And I told him, I said, that's Ariel, that's the angelic part of me. And she said, and the next thing he knew, he saw the demon. A curtain came down, a black curtain came down, and he saw the demon. And that's when he ripped his hand out of mine. And I told him, I said, this is what I see every day. I said, I'm so used to seeing this. And he's like, I'm not used to it. I said, how's your back? Because they go for your weakest spot. And it hurt really bad. So he decided that, I needed to go upstairs. So I started heading upstairs in the hotel, and he ran out the door. And I'm like, okay. He's like, and he's calling Billy, and he's saying, dude, she doesn't know what she's doing. I'm seeing things. I'm hearing things. And it's like Billy said, I told you. She told me off camera. You're going to see what she sees. You're going to hear what she hears. You need to get back here and get it taken away from you. At first, he didn't want me to take the sight away. And I told his producer, I said, I'll take it away either way. It don't make no difference to me. I said, because he cannot continue to see what I see. I said, it will make him crazy. And so he came back, and I removed it. But it was quite interesting. The demon told me, I said, listen, here's a message from the demon. You are to stop doing what you're doing. You are disrespecting the demons. You are making fun of them. You are provoking. This is your last warning. I said, he could stop your heart in a moment. I said, don't think he can't. He could just reach in and stop it. I said, but he chooses to give you this warning. I said, be thankful. And that was the last of it.
So that's what you get from Zach, is that he's disrespectful to the paranormal. He's disrespectful to all of it.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes I've never met him, but I've seen him and I've watched him. And, he's kind of like I guess you'd call him a paranormal rock star. Mm-hmm. And people talk about him because he is a paranormal rock star. But I've always wondered the cavalier nature of what it's all about with him, and wondering if, he does it because he truly doesn't believe, but then when he's faced with the reality, it immediately humbles him and he freaks.
Yeah, it's a whole different situation.
Yeah, and I used to be like that because, when you get into it, you're thinking, oh, yeah, whatever. And then when it happens to you, when I was attacked by the Zodiac killer in Martinez, California, and that's why my wife wanted me to see you, is because she felt that has been with me ever since I was there. Mm-hmm. And it was when I was at my weakest point, I guess you could say that, because I just got out of the hospital for my third cancer surgery.
Yeah.
And, here I was thinking to myself, I'm invincible. Mm-hmm. And I'm not invincible anymore. That's why I stay very firmly in the studio now. Mm-hmm. I haven't been on a ghost hunt in forever. I mean, last time I think I went on a ghost gathering was when I went to the lodge out there, the Masonic Lodge, the McMiniman's Masonic Lodge that's haunted out there in Forest Grove.
Yep.
And I actually had a ghost tug me on my toe, and then we were doing kind of a seance. And there's these, I guess they have a bucket near an ash bucket near the fireplace. Uh-huh. Someone actually kicked it, or a spirit, you could hear it kick. And everybody's like looking around going, what the heck? And I'm serious. I had the most paranormal experience there. I've had many paranormal experiences there. I went with some friends of mine once. We were doing a ghost hunt. That was back when I was able to do them. And we actually brought in a tape recorder into one of the areas where the kids used to hang out. And it was funny because we heard absolutely nothing when we were in the room. But when we played the tape back, it sounded like a school cafeteria. Yeah. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever heard doing this. But you go in with a cavalier attitude, you're going to come out getting your butt kicked. There's no doubt. You have to have a respect for it. And that's why I always tell people, and talking with you, I know this is true, that when you do something like this, there's nothing wrong with opening with a prayer or opening with a way to open the gates of light.
The portal. Yeah.
The portal. Because, excuse me, I think a lot of times people think that the idea of when you're taking on demons, that and praying or whatever doesn't mix, is that you're doing something that's evil. Yeah. And it's not. I mean, it's a cleaning process. It's like
is.
being a nurse, going in and cleaning up the wound,
Exactly.
and hoping the wound will heal after you clean it up, because it doesn't always heal the first time.
No.
And I think people don't understand that demons are like viruses. You have to have the right tools to clean up. And I get in a lot of arguments sometimes because people always believe that Jesus is always the disinfectant that works every time. There you go again. You're giving me the look. And I agree with you. And the reason why I agree with you is because people, and this is why I wanted to kind of ask you this question later, people don't realize that there are demons now that are being conjured by man alone.
Yes.
And these demons are new demons that, I mean, we were just talking about the movie The Devil Made Me Do It. Now, all these Conjuring movies, each time, except for this latest one, have always introduced us to new demons. One was called Valak, and there was also, I went and saw the movie Hereditary, and they dealt with a demon called King Paimon. And I go, I've never heard of these demons before. Come to find out, King Paimon is a jinn. And that, and we were talking about the Dybbuk, that's a Jewish demon.
Right.
And so we have all these different demons from different pantheons. And I think people believe that these old Mesopotamian demons, that Jesus knows who they are. Or these demons that are being conjured by, let's say, Muslim magicians are basically, they kowtow to Jesus, and they don't. They don't run away from that.
No.
How do you deal with something like that?
It's quite simple. You know, Jesus, a lot of people believe that you have to go through Jesus to get anything from God.
Right.
But that's not true. I mean, you can just say, hey, God, you know, this is what's going on. I need help. Help me. And the power of prayer is very strong. It is. It's great. I mean, it will ward them off. And if you spend hours and hours and hours, you might even get rid of it. But that doesn't mean it won't be back again. You may just kick it out.
You are a prime example of something that I was always taught when I was a kid. And people, when I tell them, you know, about this, they say, oh, no, that's not true. That you have the power to call down the armies of angels to combat demons.
Exactly.
I was always taught this.
But people don't understand.
They don't feel they're worthy of it.
No, they think, you know, I've done this or I've done that. But really, you know, I'm all about getting people, empowering people to help themselves. It's very important. You cannot fear the demons. You cannot be afraid of them. You cannot think that you're not good enough, that you can't do it.
Right.
All of those doubts will key in, and you will never get rid of the demon. You have to have absolute faith in what you're doing, in yourself, and in God. If you don't have those three factors, you're going to get screwed. You're never going to do it.
Because I went on a ghost hunt once, or a demon, let's say it's a demon investigation, and I was there, and there was a medium there, and I was very impressed with her. I don't remember her name. I think her name was Twyla or something. It was a really interesting name. And she basically, I just thought, whoa, this is huge. She called upon Metatron and the voice of God to command the demons to leave. And I'm thinking, whoa, she's talking about Metatron, she's talking about Gabriel, she's talking about Michael the Archangel. And I said, you know, and she said to me, she says, yes, I call upon the angels. And I said, wow, that's interesting, because I was always taught that you could call upon the angels, but I never saw anybody do it in practice.
Right.
And then I met you, and I talked with you about this many times. We've been to these ghost conferences and all these other things where I've talked with you, and you confirmed it again. And this is why, you know, I find you to be legit, because of the fact that you are the second medium or the second demon slayer, demon seer that I've met that said, yes, you are capable of calling upon the angels to cleanse out the demons, because they're the warriors.
Right.
You know, Jesus is kind of passive.
Yeah.
And so calling upon Jesus is because of your belief in religion, but the angels are the warriors, and they're the ones that know how to deal with the fallen angels.
They are, because before the war between heaven and hell, as people call it, God formed a group called the Legion of Light. And the Legion of Light were the most elite archangels. It was comprised of Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Ariel, and Zebulun. And they, in turn, trained the other warrior angels, and they, in turn, trained more warrior angels.
Right.
So there are legions and legions of warrior angels out there, and you can utilize them.
Yeah.
You can simply ask,
Yes.
and they'll help. I was sent to Las Vegas a couple years ago Michael came to me and said, "You need to go to Vegas." I said, "I hate Vegas. I don't want to go to Vegas." He's like, "You need to go to Vegas."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Why?" He says, "Because there's a dark portal that's being opened up." I'm like, and he's like, "It's huge. It's going to let in old demons into the world, which is something we do not want."
Oh.
And I'm like, "Don't tell me where it is. I don't want to know." And he's like, "Yeah." So what they've been doing, the demons had been using their influence to bring all of these objects together in one museum.
Right.
And stop and think about it. Each one of them has an old demon attached.
Well, yeah, that's what does they call that? Well, back to panpsychism again. You have these demons that attach themselves, and you need psychometry and other things to try and figure out who's in possession. June Lundgren with us. We're going to be back with more right here. Gets all demonic and crazy on Channel Weird. We'll be back. Hey guys, it's Clyde Lewis. Have you ever wanted Ground Zero merchandise but didn't know where to go? Well, I want to let you know that we now have our own online store with such items as t-shirts, hoodies, decals, tote bags, and other exclusive specialty apparel. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. Coming soon will be signed posters and coffee mugs available as we are constantly adding new items. So shop today at the official Ground Zero store by going to groundzeromerch.com. That's groundzeromerch.com.
It's all over the news. Food shortages and scarcity in the supply chain. And the reality is nobody truly knows what might happen in the near future. Hi, I'm Clyde Lewis, and I want to let you know that it's a good idea to plan ahead so you aren't caught off guard. Nothing's more important than having enough food to eat, and we're here to help. We highly recommend My Patriot Supply, America's leading emergency preparedness company. They provide long-term emergency food that lasts up to 25 years in storage. When grocery stores run empty or disasters strike, their foods will be there when you need them most. Act now and secure at least a 4-week emergency food kit full of tasty meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. They have dozens of emergency food storage kits to choose from, along with a variety of other survival products. If the government tells you not to go out, you can have the peace of mind that comes from being prepared. After you order from My Patriot Supply, your food will arrive discreetly at your doorstep. Prepare today, because time is short. Go to preparewithgroundzero.com. That's preparewithgroundzero.com. This coming July 3rd and 4th, Free and Equal Elections is hosting its 7th annual United We Stand Festival in Cambria, California. Hi, I'm Clyde Lewis, and I'll be there along with other freedom-conscious speakers. Free and Equal is a nonpartisan and well-known for their independent presidential debates. Their United We Stand festivals connect people of all ages with musicians, artists, and thought leaders to encourage civic involvement and inspire independent individuals to run for office. For more information, please visit freeandequal.org. Again, that's freeandequal.org.
Hey guys, it's Clyde Lewis. Have you ever wanted Ground Zero merchandise but didn't know where to go? Well, I want to let you know that we now have our own online store with such items as t-shirts, hoodies, decals, tote bags, and other exclusive specialty apparel. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. Coming soon will be signed posters and coffee mugs available as we are constantly adding new items. So shop today at the official Ground Zero store by going to groundzeromerch.com. That's groundzeromerch.com. June Lundgren with us on Channel Weird. So glad to have you. It's been a while since I've seen you. You're looking great. And, gosh, I guess all that demon work is doing wonders for you. You're going to be pushing that 93.
Yeah.
You look good for 83, just to let you know.
Thank you.
Anyway, let's get back to business here. So you've been around the world, obviously. You all over the world. You've been to England. You've been to Bolivia. You've been to, gosh, all these places to do your work.
Yeah.
And we understand that there was a number of graphics you wanted us to show that you're pretty proud of.
Yeah, I have a friend in Bolivia that created a new logo for me, a Demon Seer logo. And I really, really liked it. It came out really, really good. And he also created the cover for my new book, which I hope to have out by the end of next month, called Demon Seer, The Awakening. It's a series of 4 volumes of books. The first one's about the dark side and how it weaves its way into our current situation and our lives. People don't understand just how prevalent the dark ones are. They're attached to people you would never even think of that they're attached to. Like, if you stop and think about it, what's the best way to influence people? If you attach yourself to a high-ranking church person, and then you work behind the scenes, because there are millions of people that are influenced by this individual.
Right.
And they're smart.
And politics.
Yeah. It's politics.
Run by,
It's
when people talk about parapolitics, I say I do parapolitical shows. Hey, you talk about politics. No, I'm talking about ponerism. I'm talking about the ponerology of politics, which is there is evil.
Yes, behind it.
And it's behind it.
Oh, yeah.
And people tend to excuse paramorality for this apotheosis that they create of these cults of personality. And I shake my head and go, whoa, you're the one telling me thou shalt not put any gods before me. And there are plenty of gods that are out there that people worship.
Yeah. People just don't get it. I mean, these things are everywhere. Their whole goal is to influence the ruination of mankind and as much suffering as they can. And this cabal that they put together are these 9. It used to be 13. Now they're 9. And there's 9 because they do not want a tie. And a couple of years ago, one of them died. These are people of power and influence and money and people that are movers and shakers, old school stuff with a lot of power behind them. And a couple of years ago, one of them died. And they have to replace it. They cannot do anything. They cannot do anything until they replace the individual. And I had been talking with God about it. And because these 9 originally were negative, they're all about the power, the influence, and the negative entities that are influencing them behind the scenes. But about 10 years ago, God started replacing these people as they died with his people. Another one is due to die in the next month. And then God will put another one in there. But they literally everything grinds to a standstill when one of them dies because they have to find somebody to replace them.
We're looking at a time where people are seeing governments, the way the government is going to be, I guess, expanding. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be expanding in a way where people are told that they won't have to do anything anymore, that everything will be taken care of. Is this something that is considered, in your opinion, an evil kind of attitude?
Yes. This is the reason God's putting his people in behind the scenes, because he wants to change it up. He wants to bring man in, make him the way he's supposed to be, doing things, getting involved, not just, oh, okay.
That's pretty optimistic, I think, though. I mean,
it's already,
for a demon seer, you're optimistic.
It's already happening, but people don't know it.
It doesn't feel like it all the time.
And I can't say anything on the air about it, but it's already happening. People just haven't a clue. The 3 that are good are already making a difference.
So we're going to find a way to have the light power overtake the dark power. Mm-hmm. It's like I say. I mean, I've said before. I said I'm a short-term pessimist, long-term optimist, but I just don't feel it right now. You must feel it differently than I do because I don't feel it at the moment. But I'm hoping it can happen.
I see it. That's the difference.
So you see this optimistic change.
I see it happening. Yeah, I see it in my future sight. I see it. One of the good things about having Ariel, my soul is Ariel, is I can see past all of that, past all the physical world, and into what the intention is and the souls behind the intention that are being put into place. There are more and more light workers that are arriving in the world, and there are 8 archangels right now. Ariel is one of them, and I know where all of them but one are. And they're making their changes. They're helping the world in different ways behind the scenes people don't even know. There are millions of warrior angels in the world today that are in spirit, going behind man, looking, watching, protecting. People think, that all this bad stuff is happening. What's God doing about it? That's what he's doing about it. He's got all these warrior angels there and all the warrior angels that are reborn. I mean, I must have come across 2,000 or 3,000 that are in the physical body right now. They're drawn to the archangel, so they're drawn to me. They find me, they connect with me. And I help teach them what they need to know, and then they in turn teach others. Just build the light workers, a network.
It's amazing because that would make sense. I mean, if there's a lot of demonology or demons in the atmosphere,
Oh yeah.
there's got to be a lot of light workers that are going to be doing their jobs as well. And it's just that it's harder for them. I think. I think it gets to be hard when, in the face of all of it, I've always said that the devil is more, showy and flashy.
True.
And demons want to be showy and flashy, but the angels are subtle. And that's why I always say about the paranormal is the reason why people say I don't have any of those experiences is because they don't know what they're looking for.
They're looking for and looking at.
They're looking at something that would be Hollywood. They're looking at something that's going to be over the top. And in my experience, that's not what happens.
No.
And it's like I was always told the story that, when Columbus came to the New World, none of the native people knew what ships were, and so they didn't see them in the ocean until somebody who was a shaman said, "Look out there! You see that there? You see that? That's what it is." And they're like going, "Oh," because they never saw anything like it before. And I think that's the way it is with people dealing with the spirit world. Mm-hmm. The spirit world is all around us until people know. Did you notice how that changed? Did you know what's going on? It's very subtle, and I think unless you're fully aware of it, it could be happening in front of you. You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know that you're having an experience. Until someone says, "You feel that? You understand what you're feeling right now? That is the experience."
And we're the type, we want to see something like, sit this down in front of me.
Yeah.
Okay, I see it now.
Yeah.
It's like, instead of something that passes by you and changes things.
Yeah.
It's subtle, but it's there. And if you look for it, you'll find it.
Right.
There are signs. There are symbols. But people don't do that. It has to come and slap you in the face before you get a clue. And everything is ever so subtle. They don't. The angels, the warrior angels that are in the world today, can cloak themselves from the demons, and they don't want the demons to know they're there, that they're working in the world, helping. They don't want them to know that.
Yeah, it's obvious that we are in a time where it is the apocalypse in a lot of ways because as much as people want to deny it. Everything that we once were told is non-existent is now showing itself. Mm-hmm. And, everything from UFOs to paranormal experiences to ghosts. I always tell people 30 years ago, you never would have imagined people going into homes with cameras and looking for ghosts or recording ghosts. 30 years ago, you wouldn't expect the Navy to say that there are UFOs out there that we need to be aware of them.
Right.
You never would have heard this.
No.
But it's because everything is culminating to one particular time in history, mm-hmm. and people are so in the middle of it they don't notice that it's happening. But when you say, look at this and understand it is happening, the blueprint is being fulfilled. And whatever blueprint you follow, whether it's the Book of Revelation or it's some other blueprint, Eschaton or whatever, people are nudging mm-hmm. the spirit world to come in and take care of all their problems. It's a Deus Ex Machina. Yeah. They want it all to happen, but it's got to be you.
Yeah.
It's got to be you. You got to open up to it.
They don't want to do the work.
No.
They don't want to open, and it's like, hello, you're not going to get it.
Or they run away from it.
Oh,
they run away from it. You say, well, look at this. Look what can happen here. Oh, well, I don't even want any part of it. Because unless it's in my Bible or unless my preacher tells me I can do it, I'm not going to do it. Well,
black is black.
You're going to lose it. You're going to lose everything. You're going to be taken over. You're going to have a demon at your throat, and you're not even going to know it's happening to you until you're in the middle of it. You're going to go, why am I having these bad things happen to me?
Yeah, it's like, get a clue. I'm like, can't tell you how many emails I get from people saying, this is what's going on, this is what's happening, this is what's happening. Help me. What is it? Can you help me? It's like, I must get 25, 30 of those a month on a slow month. Mm-hmm. And I have to address each and every one of those while working 10-hour shifts as a nurse.
Right. Well, see, that's the thing, is that you have that healing ability because you're a nurse. And then the healing ability it's kind of like you're the paranormal nurse. You're the one that goes in and tries to heal and clean up, and it's a messy job.
It is.
It's a very messy job, and so I like I say, I've known you for a while, and I've seen this, and you've demonstrated to me, and I've seen it. I've seen the subtlety, and I've seen the there's always this overachieving demon sometimes that wants to, it's a poltergeist or whatever it is, that just wants to wreak havoc on people's lives. And you know, exorcisms, whatever they may be. I mean, exorcisms are up in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And there's got to be a reason for that.
In January 25th, 2018 edition of Newsweek, the Vatican came out and said, we're training more and more exorcists than ever before in our history. And the Vatican wouldn't say boo if they had a mouthful of it.
Yeah.
But they actually came out and said that. And God told me in 2013, things are going to start ramping up. You're going to see more and more.
They used to discourage exorcism because they thought it was some medieval practice that the church would never do again, and now they're doing it again.
Yeah. But I asked Michael one time, I said, why does it take them so long to remove a demon? And he says, because they have doubt. Whether it's doubt in what they're doing, doubt in their ability to do it, or doubt in the procedure. I said, but it doesn't take me but a couple minutes. He says, that's the difference. They don't have in them what you have in you. You have Ariel. You have absolute power, absolute belief. He says, that's the difference. He says, that's why you're sent down here.
Amazing. Well, I can only surmise that if hell exists, they have a restraining order against you.
Oh, yeah, they do. Lucifer's probably afraid I'll take over.
Yeah. June Lundgren on Channel Weird. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It was a great time.
Yes.
Check us out next week. We'll have another Channel Weird for you, opening up the weirdness of Portland. And it's awesome right here on Channel Weird. Join us next week. We'll see you soon.